So President-elect Trump has spoken about the situation in Gaza, Israel's war against Hamas, the hostages, and also he makes a really important point here about the denial that we've seen, the denial of October 7th, which he compares or says in many ways is the same as Holocaust denial. Have a watch of this clip.
Still American hostages being held in Gaza. Yeah. You said this week that if the hostages aren't released before Inauguration Day, quote, there will be all hell to pay.
Correct.
What exactly did you mean? And do you still think that the hostages are alive?
I'm not a big believer in the fact that there are too many of them living, sadly, because I've seen the way they've been treated. I talk about the young girl that was pulled by her hair violently and thrown into the back of a car like she was a sack of potatoes. And I said, that's hatred. And then I said, how did that young girl do? Beautiful young girl just dragged by her hair. You remember, blood pouring all over her body. You can imagine the parents thrown into the back of a car by some horrible guy. And I said, how is she? She's dead. She died, sir. I don't think you have as many. I mean, I hate to say it. I think you have far fewer hostages than people think.
Really?
That's what I think. It's only my opinion, but okay. I've been right on just about everything.
Are you going to pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu, with whom you have a very good relationship, to end the war in Gaza?
Yeah, sure.
And have you already started that process?
I want him to end it, but you got to have a victory. People forget about October 7th. That was as violent. And you know what's happening? I noticed that a lot of people are saying, oh, it never really happened. That's like the Holocaust. You have Holocaust deniers. Now you have October 7th deniers, and it just happened. No, October 7th happened. And I've seen the pictures. What happened is horrible.
Now, notice, by the way, that he says, yeah, I want the war to end, but with victory. He doesn't call for, we need ceasefire, we need de-escalation. He says, yeah, it should end, but with victory, decisive, quick victory. That is totally the right way to look at this. A war should be fought decisively and quickly. And he understands that you can't just have it where it's just going to be a questionable outcome. Totally right about that. And he's probably saying that it's got to end with a victory. What he's saying is he's going to provide the weaponry to help Israel finish the job rather than have conditional support and conditional military aid, which is what we've seen recently, where it turns out Prime Minister Netanyahu was saying that Biden actually was saying to him, if you go into Rafah and other places, we won't provide military support for you. But then he gets onto the point about October 7th denial, which I think is really important. Why do you think it is that people would deny what happened on October 7th? Why is it? And why do we only see this uniquely when it comes to the Jews? We don't see denial of, the Rwanda genocide, denial of, other terror attacks and things like that. Why is it only here? Well, I think the answer lies in what happened in the aftermath of October 7th. Literally, not even days after, hours after, we saw people going to the streets, anti-Israel activists, waving their flags, celebrating it, calling it resistance. They either have to call it resistance or they have to deny it, because otherwise it becomes exposed for what it is. The anti-Israel cause becomes exposed for what it is, which is an illegitimate cause, which is not based on any genuine desire for nationalism and coexistence. It is simply a fake nationalism cynically created to try and undermine Israel. And basically the October 7th attack proved that, because it was an indiscriminate attack against men, women, children, where they were screaming Allahu Akbar, calling out their parents, saying, Mom, Dad, I've killed Jews, proving that this is about an ideological hatred, not a legitimate grievance of wanting some kind of state of their own. And so either you have to accept that and change your position, or you have to somehow find a way to justify it and dress it up as resistance, even though how anyone could describe the rape, mutilation, kidnapping, abuse of just innocent civilians is utterly insane to me that people could call that resistance. But thirdly, and perhaps the easiest solution, is just to deny it. Deny that it happened. I heard someone say recently, I think it was Howard Jacobson, the writer, he said that Europe never forgave the Jews for the Holocaust. And what he meant by that was, and I think this explains Holocaust denial, is the guilt associated with what Europe did to the Jews. Well, they hate that, so either you deny it, or another option. Here's an alternative. You make Israel the new Nazi. Yes, you're just as bad. Now we can shed our guilt. It's sick. I'll tell you what's particularly sick about this also, is that it's one thing for people to go through massacres and genocides and tragedy like the Jewish people went through and Israel went through on October 7th. But then to be denied your suffering, to be totally invalidated, gaslit, told that it never happened. I remember learning a fascinating idea that was told to me by a rabbi. I think it was Rabbi Shlomo Farhi, who said that the Talmud, the Gemara, discusses how did Job, Eov in Hebrew, die? How did he pass away? And he was a man that went through an immense amount of suffering in his life. And there's all these various opinions. And one opinion is he never actually existed. He is a mythical creature. It's a mythical story that it's just there to teach us lessons. And Rabbi Farhi, I think he said he heard another great rabbi say that that opinion, that's what killed him. It was tongue-in-cheek, but it's saying the denial of suffering, everything he went through, and saying it didn't even happen, that can kill you. It is so sick, it is so cruel to deny people what it is that they went through and deny their testimony. So I think President-elect Trump is really on the ball there. He might sometimes express things in clumsy ways, but he's understanding some basic important realities on this subject. Now, before we finish this video, as you can see in the little text here, our campaign to accelerate JTV's growth has begun right now. We're doing a campaign this week, and basically, if you're appreciating what it is that we're doing with JTV to spread the truth about Israel, to create positive associations and demystify Judaism and Israel and the Jewish people to the whole world, we want to scale our impact. We want to have more content. We want to be able to market more and really compete with the anti-Israel online equivalents. If that sounds something like a worthy cause to you, have a watch of this video, which explains more. The world is full of lies.
That Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu bear criminal responsibility.
The truth is under attack.
Which river, which sea? So you don't know the
From the media to the UN to celebrities, lies reign supreme. But the thing about the truth is that no matter how dark a room of lies, if you light one candle of truth, it can light up the whole room. That's why I created JTV, the global Jewish YouTube channel. We have been lighting the flame of truth on social media. We believe that the key to defeating anti-Semitism isn't just in fighting the hate, but it's about creating pro-Semitism and sharing the truth. There's nothing inevitable about anti-Semitism. We just need to tell our story with confidence, pride, and love. We believe that telling the truth, exposing the lies, and sharing the wisdom and beauty found within the Jewish story and the ideas of Judaism can transform the world. We're reaching millions of people all around the world from all backgrounds and perspectives. Every day we are transforming people's views about Israel, Jews, and Judaism. How do we know? Because they tell us. But there's so much more we can do. It's time for us to build a team to accelerate our growth and produce way more content that can appeal to even more people. We want to hire more presenters, start doing documentary series, and way more. And if we do that, JTV will start competing with the other big media players who peddle anti-Israel narratives. And that's where you come in. I'm asking you to please partner with us on our journey to spread the truth to the entire world by donating whatever you can to this fundraiser. Together, we will harness the power of social media to shine the light of truth to the whole world. Thank you so much for your support. That's our video. As I say, you really will partner with us. If you can help us in any way, share the link, contribute yourself, click on the link in the video description to help us grow. And you'll partner with us in taking this to the next level and getting the truth seen, heard, and understood by people all around the world. There is such a deep need for it. Most people probably won't click on that link, But if everyone did, if every single viewer did, and everyone chipped in, then we really would have the means to accelerate our growth and compete with the anti-Israel, anti-truth equivalents out there. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.